American educator and philosopher William Kilpatrick was one of the top promoters and spokespersons for the educational theory progressivism. Kilpatrick said, "We learn what we accept as our way of living, and we learn it in the degree we live it. Education is thus the cumulative effect of all one's successive learning." William Hurd Kilpatrick was born on November 20th, 1871, in White Plains, Georgia. He grew up in standard public schools in the area until he enrolled for college at Mercer University at the age of just 17. After 4 years at Mercer, he graduated second in his class in 1888. He would later study at Johns Hopkins University and receive his master's degree in 1892. Kilpatrick held many positions in several universities throughout the United States from 1910 through 1918, including Bennington, Mercer, and Hopkins. After his schooling, he took jobs teaching and also worked as a principal for many years. While teaching, he took summer courses in education at Rock College. It was during this time at Rock College that his interest in teaching and learning processes of education began to increase. He met John Dewey while serving as a chairman on a local school board committee. Kilpatrick learned the way of Dewey and began to work alongside him in developing the progressive theory of education. Kilpatrick grew more knowledgeable with Dewey and even wrote several articles and 11 books on the progressive way of education. Kilpatrick said that the learner's attitude is thus an essential factor to determine the direction of his learning, whether he shall learn to do or not learn to do. Kilpatrick sought to make learning interesting to the learner. He promoted that students should be able to study their own interests and pursuits so as to make them more curious to learn. One of Kilpatrick's most famous writing would be The Project Method, widely known for its progressive teachings. Kilpatrick addresses that teachers should make the classroom setting fun and inviting so as to help the student's attitude toward learning be one of passion and curiosity. He wanted teachers to develop good relationships with the students and have a strong mutual trust between the two of them. Today, Kilpatrick's teachings have influenced education in many different ways, including the fun factor element in classrooms, making learning less intimidating and easier for students. He also promoted learning outside of classrooms, like field trips and study abroad programs. These progressive ways of learning are used today for the bettering of education all over the world. Kilpatrick said, "People who grow without a sense of how yesterday has affected today are unlikely to have a strong sense of how today affects tomorrow. They are unlikely to understand in a bone-deep way how the decisions they make now will shape and affect their future." Kilpatrick knew the decisions he made would affect how many people for generations to come. His decisions were for the sake of education in his day and for the future. He lived a long, healthy life devoted to his passion and service to the growth and evolution of education.